Hello everyone and welcome back to the Reflection Podcast. We're on episode 7. I'm Ben Reeves and as per usual I have my co-hosts Anya Popov and Alfie Peacock. So, what did we get up to this week?
So this week was very impactful for our Romeo and Juliet rehearsals, and and to start off with the week, obviously as we do every Monday, it's our self-led day.
Yeah.
And so we just prioritise coursework, and obviously getting down to the proper nail with only about 4 weeks left until we perform in Titchfield Barn.
Don't remind me.
Get your tickets. I just started setting up a lot of my coursework stuff and coursework study because I need to get that done for the portfolio due on the 26th?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 26th of May, portfolio's due. So I was just starting off doing some coursework on my research on everything like that, doing my character research and stuff like that. What about you two?
I was just looking at my website, trying to put things together, write some stuff. Just all the boring stuff on the side of acting, but you know, I was being productive.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. And you?
Yeah, that's the same as me. I'm just doing bits and bobs.
Bits and bobs.
Coursework.
Lovely. Shall we get into Tuesday? So Tuesday was a long day to try and get our heads around.
It was 4 hours and we couldn't remember a damn thing.
Yeah. No, we could remember everything, Jimmy. So first of all, we started off with you leading on warm-ups with the first years. How did you find that? Obviously incorporating us as normal and then the first years.
It was... Right, can we pause? I didn't actually do the warm-up with the first years.
Okay, 3, 2,
No, you
1.
didn't. It was just a game.
3, 2, 1. How do we find Owen's warm-up on Tuesday with the year ones?
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad, but obviously it wasn't as organised as what it would have been with just us.
Oh, definitely.
Because they're also working on their FMP, and obviously we're trying to work on ours, and a bit of the sorry, that was my dog coughing. That was that was my dog coughing.
No.
Thanks, Jasmine. But no, I think what you could tell between the two groups is the maturity levels.
Yeah, they're more mature than us.
No, they're not. But on that behalf, yeah. But yeah, no, that wasn't too bad. And then we just started getting down and dirty with scenes.
For the scene we done, that phrasing was impeccable.
Thank you.
So what?
We started off with Act 3, Scene 4, which was all about it was the scene before the nurse, so that's about the Lord Capulet talking, I believe.
It's Lord Capulet talking with Lady Capulet and Paris about how Paris is basically like, there's all this tragedy has happened, there's no time to woo during this woe.
Yeah.
Can I have your daughter? And he was
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm pretty sad about my nephew dying, but yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. Also, one part of information that I got when I was researching into the scene was the way Lady Capulet talks to Lord Capulet in that scene, and she's jealous of the relationship between Lord Capulet and the nurse. Because obviously it starts off the scene with Lady Capulet saying get more spices, and then obviously
That wasn't on Tuesday.
It wasn't on Tuesday.
That was on
scene 4.
Thursday.
No, that's the scene.
We did that on
You
Thursday.
didn't do that on Tuesday.
No, we done that on Thursday.
That's the scene.
We did that on Thursday.
That's
No,
the scene.
it's not.
That is the scene.
Because it's the nurse isn't involved for literally the scene after where she has
Apologies, that was Act 4. My apologies on that one.
So actually how it goes is, well, I was saying how Paris is just asking for Juliet's hand in marriage, and how we decided to stage that is just having the 3 characters facing the audience.
Yeah, it's
Just
very simplistic.
Very simple, just direct address. And then it leads into the canoodling scene, as one would call it.
Yes.
Where how that starts is, during our speech, is Romeo and Juliet walk center stage, then slowly descend onto the floor,
Yeah.
and then when the scene finishes, us two, me as nurse, me as Paris, you as Lord Capulet, but we basically just become entities, grab a piece of fabric and pull it over the two of you before walking off stage.
Yeah.
But It was extra fun that day because I was the only nurse / Paris, so as soon as I'd done that, I just sprint across the stage to get ready for when the nurse came in.
I quite like that simplistic look that we've gone for, especially for when it leads into the Nightingale scene, because obviously it's laid out with like character in the middle, and then between the two, you obviously just have Romeo and Juliet slowly walking on and then turning, and then it, like as soon as you like end your scene, it goes into like obviously them from slow motion into natural time, and then they just grab each other, do whatever. How I done it was sorry Jasmine, what's up?
Begging for attention.
Yeah, so how I started it with my Juliet, because obviously we ran through it with all of them, to start off was I wanted to impose the fact that Romeo's missed Juliet too much. So like obviously when they go to normal time, he picks up Juliet, spins her, puts her down, they kiss, and then it transcends into nighttime before when they lay down into the Nightingale scene. That's how I interpreted it, because Bro misses her.
Yeah, you do.
First time seeing him after committing murder. Damn, I really missed you, girl.
Yeah, I have murder on my mind.
You know how your cousin's dead? Love me.
Yeah. So that's how I interpreted the start of that scene, and then obviously we only started getting into why are you so loud today? Sorry about this, guys. Why are you so loud today? But obviously getting into just finishing my scene with Juliet on the Tuesday. Obviously, I wasn't fully off script then for that scene, so it was kind of a bit hard for movement purposes to obviously try and get out and about. But we made it work for what we had, and obviously how the blocking was between the other two casts. It wasn't too bad, but my dog just loves to yap today.
Jasmine, you didn't deserve that chew, I'm gonna be honest with you.
You didn't deserve that.
You didn't deserve it, you didn't deserve a treat.
But yeah, no, I quite like this thing because obviously it's about Romeo before he goes to Mantua. But I do think something that I could do more into that scene is play the point of his thoughts are saying that he is going.
Honey, stop whimpering, you're ruining the sound quality.
Yeah, for real. Because obviously how I played it for the first time was, oh yeah, he's just with Juliet, they're canoodling and stuff on the floor, wake up, oh he's got to go. Tee-hee, he's got to go. But something that I've realised now, not doing the scene, obviously learning my lines for the scene, is I really need to play the point more of he's not coming back for a while. Like this is his scene before he leaves, and the next time we're seeing is in Mantua. I didn't play that as Bo's just gonna be gone for like 2 days and come back. Like he's gone, and I didn't play it like
He's
that.
gone for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and I didn't play it like that, which I think I need to do more going into it and try and play around with those emotional aspects of the way he talks to Juliet, saying obviously about, she's like, will you be back? I was like, I doubt it not.
Maybe.
She's like, I doubt it. He's like, I doubt it not. But these consequences, I don't know. Like, unless you come see me, I ain't seeing you. And so I need to play into that Romeo a bit more for obviously the foreseeable future.
Romeo and Juliet was the first long distance relationship.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out.
It did not work. They died together.
Exactly.
They were together.
They canoodled and then
As life should be. Anyways,
But anyways,
the nurse is fun in your scene because it's one of the many scenes where the nurse
is on our side.
it's one of the many scenes where it's so fun to act because I walk on stage, I say 2 lines, I walk off stage.
Yeah, but your 2 lines are comforting. You're like, quick, your mother's coming.
It's not confident, I'm just like, Juliet, yeah, what's up? Your mum's coming? Hurry up. Gets him out. Bye.
Hey, at least you're friends with me by then.
And then the next time I come on stage, I'm with Capulet.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that basically stands for what Tuesday was about. Because obviously Tuesdays are half days. And then Wednesdays, I can't really talk much on how obviously I did on Wednesday. Because Wednesday I was just practicing my lines. Because obviously we was doing Act 4. That is your lot's territory. So if you want, I'll let you two take it away for Act 4.
well, first we did our the first half of the day.
We did context.
And through context, we basically just went through costuming
Yeah.
and probably props as well at the same time. Just trying to figure out the specifics of what we need to order for
Yeah.
it. But then see Act 4. What's
Well, before we did that call, we had a glorious warm up that you did, which we'll show now. Wasn't that good. But what did you do? Say what you did.
Oh yeah, so for the warm up we did just
I'm
the
helping
usual.
myself.
For the warm up we just did the usual, physical warm up the body, and then we did a little relaxation moment. To
Someone's
relax
not
the
very
soul.
relaxed, are they? Sorry, continue.
Yeah, and then we did some relaxation exercise
I actually quite like that.
relax the body and the mind.
You brought back the words of affirmation.
I did bring back the words of affirmation.
You sure did.
Ben was just like,
Just like-
they were all lies.
Just like, say to yourself that I'm important. I love myself. I was just like, I was mumbling it. I'm say it. I mean it though.
But it's also important to remember that we are always here for each other, and
Of course.
everyone is in the same boat, especially in this moment in time. But yeah, so we did the warm ups, and then we moved on to Act 4, which is where we separated into 3 groups. Obviously, the
Yeah.
Romeos went off and did.
We just learned our lines, really.
Yeah.
That's all we done.
And then Yumi and
Rizal.
Rizal as our Juliet, we did the scene where once again the nurse is on stage but says 2 lines before exiting stage, which is simply just
Hey, don't complain. This is mainly where you're Paris.
even barely that. But yeah, no, because it's Capulet trying to organise
The wedding.
right?
Yeah, so yeah, I think so.
Yeah. This is
see-
when Juliet just got home from the fire cell after she got the poison.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that scene is very short in
Yeah.
in the context of the whole play, but I feel like Capulet is just a typical man.
How are you finding
Gang.
How are you finding Capulet? Like, now that you, as Mercutio, are now dead, and obviously now you're working on all of your Lord Capulet work now, how are you finding that transition between the 2 characters? Because one's very up and about and like bouncy and airy, and then the other one's quite...
Yeah, I feel like Lord Capulet is very ruthless in what he says. It's whatever he says goes,
Yeah,
which I guess in their time was like fine.
yeah.
To be fair, it's been quite difficult to play him
How come?
because he is like finding that mindset
Yeah,
is just very, very hard. Especially like I am realistically, we're playing it either as a female or gender neutral.
yeah.
So it's like some of the things that the character says doesn't correspond
To how you feel.
to who I am. Yeah.
The identity.
But I feel like in that scene, he's very like straight to the point.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we staged it, didn't we? Because we made the decision to have what you're facing the front the whole time. You're talking to Juliet and the nurse, and
But I'm not
everyone,
acknowledging
but
her
you're not
Yeah.
fully
face.
acknowledging them.
Yeah. So that was really that scene, and then Juliet does her start of her monologue, which
Yeah.
was what Rizal did.
Well,
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have a Lady Capulet when we did that scene because she was doing the abuse scene in the other room. So
Yeah.
we just kind of had to assume how that would go, and then Rizal gave her best performance of it. But obviously, once we did it with Jimmy the next day, he gave a full idea of it. And when it came to how the abuse scene looked, because obviously that's the scene that both of us are in, I don't know how it looked on the Wednesday.
No, neither.
No, did not get to see a shred of it, but I'm sure it's good because it was good that day because of how it progressed
yeah.
the following.
Yeah, and obviously finishing up on the Wednesday was the Juliet chamber scene, because obviously at the end of scene 2 is when she's like, okay, yeah, leave me alone now, nurse, I'm gonna head to my chamber. And you're just like, okay, good night.
Deuces.
You're like, I see you in the morning. She will not see her in the morning. And obviously, this is where then she does her big speech and then pleads to have her mindset of, is this poison gonna work or am I actually gonna die? Who knows?
Yeah, but we go into more depth with that.
Yeah.
Thursday. So Thursday.
Yeah, so Thursday, obviously, we just started to rerun Act 3, Scene 5, which is the Nightingale scene, just to get the transition into Act 4, pretty much. Because obviously, at the end, there's a little bit between Lord Capulet, Nurse and Juliet, I believe. I think, or maybe with Lady Capulet. There's
Lady Capulet combo.
yeah, I know there's a little bit between them. And then just running into straight off to where we left off, past that into Act 4, Scene 3, obviously trying to make sure that we can make sure that Juliet's first death is very powerful. So we had Carrie playing a lot of Juliet that day, who is cast Montague, and with this movement piece that we created for it, it is touching. Because obviously we tried to implement everyone in the family and in the story. One side being like Montague's, one side being Capulet's and stuff like that. I was playing their Tybalt that day. So obviously I was at the front with them. And the way that Juliet talks and how everyone has to respond off to her emotions watching her die is so different, because from an audience's perspective, they're going to see Juliet in her speech and then look at everyone else in the room, seeing their character, and then think, why are they looking at her like that? And stuff like that. Because like at one point I'm looking at her like Gregory, like I'm just a background character, like I'm just here because of Tybalt and the family. When I play Tybalt, I'm there like, yeah, you're gonna be with your older cousin now, everything's gonna be fine. If you do die, I'm here. And then we've got Romeo hooded up and then catching her and laying her down to die, like everything's gonna be fine, I'm there for you. And like we've got a character symbolizing how they would react in her death throughout everything, and I really love that scene. Like once we get the correct lighting for everything and like the best ambient background noises for like music and stuff like that, kind of bring people to tears.
Yeah, but before we got to that scene, we did present, because obviously you weren't in the room because the Romeos aren't in that act.
Yeah, we're not
so
in
you
that
guys
act.
you guys were productive and you went and practiced our past scenes. But we presented to each other the two scenes that we worked on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I don't believe you acted out of the abuse scene, but from an audience perspective, how do you think it's going? And from the idea of playing it as Capulet?
I feel like obviously when Fernando was doing it, obviously it was like their first
Run through like this scene.
so it was like after they said it, that was the first like basically run. I think we did end up changing because there was supposed to be a slap. I think
yes,
we end up changing that.
What I've heard from that scene from like Jimmy and other people,
It was very EastEnders.
it was very EastEnders, and from what I've heard, Fernanda goes in, like when I heard that she was doing the scene, like when she slapped, she wanted to slap and she was spitting.
Oh, she was
spitting.
She spat, she was speaking, she spat down at Juliet, it still hit me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's a very different atmosphere from like the previous scenes. It's a very big contrast between the other scenes beforehand, and it goes into bam, screaming, shouting, abuse, child abuse, trigger warning.
Just a tad.
But it's a good scene.
I like the scene.
Is there anything that you would have improved in that scene further forwards?
Not anything that I would have improved, at least from my perspective, because obviously the audience see a lot more than the actors do.
Yeah.
But I quite like the scene in the sense of how not Juliet chooses to present herself and the nurse chooses to present herself, because the nurse it's like the atmosphere going into it is it's very calm in the beginning because it's just Capulet and the nurse walk in. It's like a regular chat. Then Juliet starts spouting off about how she doesn't want to get married, and then the anger builds. And I don't know if I did it well,
Yeah.
But I did try and like there's bits when Capulet tries like before like Juliet gets on her knees and starts begging, where Capulet gets up in her face, and I don't know if I showed it well enough, but I did try and kind of put the nurse in between them.
Yeah.
To show the more masculine and like protective father figure type side of it. But obviously the nurse has no power, so the nurse doesn't actually do anything. And then when the slap happens, like the nurse goes like straight away first of all goes to comfort Juliet. But as Capulet keeps chatting and just spewing insults, I love it because normally because the nurse would be like argumentative. And be like, oh, it's not her fault, it's yours, my lord. Which is like just a bit argumentative, but the way I've chosen to present it is the nurse walks up to him, like almost like he's about to swing for him.
Yeah.
But then like,
you're finna lose your job.
I'm finna lose my job. I'm gonna go to prison. Oh, hell, I'll end up in Mantua with Romeo. We'll become buddies. But no.
Play bingo.
Literally. But yeah. It's interesting because the nurse looks like they really want to do something, but then they realise they can't.
Yeah.
So then, like, they have a big strop and they walk over back to Juliet to try and take care of her. And then after that, once Capulet and Lady Capulet walk off, and Juliet's speaking, like, begging for help.
Yeah.
The nurse, you can tell the nurse really wants to do something, but she knows she can't. So she just tells Juliet to accept fate.
Yeah.
And then that's when you see like the breaking of Juliet again. So where she's like, okay, yeah, I'll do it, but then obviously she ends up.
Yeah, but yeah.
Was that not any different for you for being Lord Capulet?
I feel like it's very different just because obviously at the start he's like
at the party and everything like that.
Yeah.
You see him very neutral, don't you, as well?
Yeah. No, not even very neutral. Like he's like, oh, if Juliet wants to marry you, she'll marry you. If she doesn't, she doesn't. Like he's not forcing it upon her, which is extremely strange.
Yeah.
And then obviously it moves on to the axe, and he's like forcing it upon her, obviously because of Tybalt's death. But there's nothing like correlating to both of those things. So from him going to like, oh, it's her choice, to actually making her, I don't think you just expect it from him for some reason.
It is a big change out of almost nowhere.
Especially this is like what, 2 days after.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it is a bit of a heavy scene to dive into, especially if like you're not exactly ready for like how to play the character. And obviously, as you said, like the stuff that you say doesn't really correlate to who you are.
yeah.
And obviously trying to find that balance between them is very difficult. But from when I've briefly seen evidence from it, and from like when I've heard it, like quickly seen it into the scene, it does look, I can't use the term beautiful because of how vile of a scene it is, but like the way
capture it.
Yeah, the way that all the emotions are captured in the scene are beautiful to the point that that's how they would react. you look as like a very manly protector and cowers away.
Just like in real life.
But
and then
great scene.
Then after that, it was.
I'm pretty sure
after Juliet's death scene, it was
just working on the little movement piece with the.
No, because we did finish. We did get up to Juliet's. Like,
yeah.
Her being found dead. Because from the movement sequence.
We did go into the movement sequence from her death to then the start of scene 4 where the nurse comes in and finds her dead.
Because how we do it, because there's a brief exchange between Capulet, Lady Capulet, and then that's as you said earlier, where Lady Capulet's a bit jealous of the relationship. I find interesting for how we're contemporizing it, because that almost means there's a part of Lady Capulet that thinks Lord Capulet's gay. Unless we are playing it as a woman.
I mean, if it's gender neutral, like you said.
It's interesting as it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because Lady Capulet is getting,
and then
Lady Capulet is getting threatened from a relationship by a man.
Maybe Lord Capulet's bisexual.
Maybe Lord Capulet just he just likes to have a bit of fun. They like, just like to have a bit of fun.
It's from the party.
They're just like, listen, if you down, I'm down. Type shit.
I'm ready if you are.
But yeah, it's nice the way the nurse walks from Juliet's death as an entity and then goes into the scene, especially when we're trying to make it seriously and Matthew falls.
If we can find the clip, we'll show it.
Oh, I will find that clip, and it will be bang at the end of this episode.
This
watch
friar,
till the end.
Our friar Matthew, you will see him rumble and tumble.
But yeah, it's good because the nurse, you can tell the nurse when she's on the balcony she feels very guilty.
Yeah.
Like she can't do much, and then she gets startled by the two of them.
Yeah.
And obviously there's the exchange, and then the nurse finds Juliet, and I don't know why, but I really struggled with that scene. Because the
In
nurse,
what way?
just because the way I was reading it was like the nurse is still having a laugh. Obviously it's having a laugh, but it's leading up to the finding your child dead.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I found it really difficult to do that switch. Because I could do the funny bit of this scene, but once it got to the bit where I would find her, it has to be very natural. And for whatever reason, I just kept playing it up, which is always something I need to work on. But then there's literally the nurse finding it was like, lady.
Yeah.
She's dead! Like, there needs to be a brief pause before I shout, alas, she's dead, my lady is dead. And then obviously that's when Capulet and Lord Capulet come in.
Definitely could be more of
To be
the
fair, yeah,
pause.
I agree with that. To be fair, like, it's like, because obviously once you've done your bit, Lady Capulet's done her bit, and it was like, you were on the floor and I had to like push you over and I like...
You loved it.
No, but it felt really... It felt really awkward doing that.
Shoving me to the ground.
Yeah, because you are like on the floor, so I have to like scooch
You just
front
like
of
bump
you.
and just like, hello.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a very specific way to do it that we need to
Yeah, I know, but like this scene here for scene 5 and everything like that, from scene 4 and 5 to obviously when you're having a cracker, when you two are like cracking jokes and like, I go get spice, go get food, Lady Capulet's like, leave him alone. And then obviously because both of you switch very quickly within one scene.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're switching from backhanding her and like spitting in her face, calling her rotten cabbage and stuff like that, and then like you're now cradling her in your arms.
rotten baggage.
Yeah, like you're now cradling her in your arms, and that switch has got to be hard. And then obviously you're switching from joking around with your higher ups to then finding someone that you protected.
No, none of them are joking with the higher ups. I'm joking around with Juliet while she's dead. I'm walking around her room making jokes about her in Paris.
Yeah.
I'm literally saying to her like,
you take your pennyworths now, sleep for a week.
yeah,
for the
I'm
next
saying rest
sleep.
now because you won't be resting later. And then I'm like, oh god, oh no, pain. And then it goes from that into instantly she's dead.
Yeah.
And it's such an intense snap. But obviously there's a way to do it.
And you just gotta find
I'll
it.
figure it out.
You just gotta find
And
it.
if I don't,
You'll find it.
I'll get a merit.
You'll find it. Yeah, no, that switch, just reading into the scene and everything, that switch is so quick. And then, obviously, for when you come in, you're first starting off like, why is there so much noise? Why are two of you crying? What's going on here? And then obviously,
Why is Juliet cold?
yeah, then you literally just go over, then you're like barging past your wife
You're
and
like,
just like,
"Ooh."
get out of there, nurse, real
Bro
quick.
literally chins me, and I have to fall to the floor, like, but not fall.
Yeah, tumble.
I have to do like a quick backwards land, not
Yeah.
a shit. I'm now on my shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because that switch is because like the way you even talk kind of like switches again, because it's like you're angry and then you say, "Ha, let me see her. Out, alas, she's cold. Her blood is settled and her joints are stiff. Life and these lips have been long separated. Death lies unlike her like an untimely frost upon the sweetest flower of all the fields." And then like you're kind of like going into sadness, and then you're kind of like pausing that sadness to reminisce on her.
Yeah,
Because
but
you're
I
like,
feel like-
she's like, you're like.
I think he's just bipolar, I can't lie to you.
Yeah, if you're angry, you're
I'll
upset.
be honest.
Because the way that you switch your words is then death
Yeah,
then you
because-
switch back into angry because she's died.
Yeah.
You're very confusing man. You're very confusing gender neutral.
You're very
No,
confusing. then.
that's what I mean. Like, 'cause it's like at the start, he's very like lovey-dovey, and he's like, oh, but she's the
Yeah.
holy lady, whatever, of my earth, and then he goes and screaming at her, like
Yeah.
beating her up to like, being like, oh my god, she's dead. Because that's what I was wondering. That's what I asked Jimmy. I was like, does he actually care?
Yeah.
Like, how am I doing? Like, does he actually?
Maybe that's just your own
care?
interpretation.
Or
Do you want to play him like he cares? That's up to you. That's what you need to figure out going into the final stretch of building and blocking. You now need to figure out from the start to the end of your character, how do you want to play him?
yeah,
And I feel like that's a lot for all of us now, from our lines to then figuring out, because now that we're off lines, like almost off lines, we can now really figure out who we are, kind of thing. Because it's like, from all of our switches. Don't look at me on YouTube. Don't look at me.
but Friday.
Yeah, so Friday was obviously just finishing up this scene when obviously you find her dead.
The day started with me getting pushed by Fernanda. You can
Yeah,
tell
and
it's a good
obviously
day.
because that's when you switched from you doing it to then Fernanda doing it. Just working out all of that stuff, and then heading into transition into Act 5, the final act, the final 3 scenes. I am in all 3 of those scenes. Not for long. But
Yeah. So how did you feel doing those?
It was
scenes?
very you-based.
yeah, the Friday was very me-basedy because obviously John, the cast Verona Romeo, hasn't really been in that much. So then obviously we had to try and make sure we get him to focus on everything of what we've done, and then Owen was being his production role, trying to work out more sound effects and like S effects and stuff.
That was funny.
So like he's trying to figure out some stuff for that as well. So obviously acting into it was quite hard because obviously just like you two were trying to find the switches, I was trying to find my switch from my last scene, because Act 4 is quite long for scenes. Like there's 5 scenes, but like, they're quite short. And like trying to find from, oh yeah, I love you, I'm now off going for a hike to Mantua. And then when you see me in Mantua, the way I don't think I played it sad enough that I'm banished to a point, because like I was talking and obviously my character's just reminiscing, but I don't think I played it to a standpoint where like he's actually upset that he's there. Like how we started off was like walking into the scene, looking around Mantua, and then going into this giant monologue. And I think personally I could play that a bit more upset, but how we started our five, it is quite nice. Like for the 3 scenes, they're quite long, but they're quite nice because they bring everything together. So obviously it starts off with obviously my monologue, and then I see Benvolio / Balthazar, and then he's like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh yes, news from Verona. How's Juliet? How's my mum? How's Juliet, my wife? Like, is she good? Is she ill? Because, and then he's just like, yeah.
Isn't his first line? If you want to believe she's okay, she's okay.
Yeah. So I say, how fares my Juliet? Then I ask again, for nothing can be ill if she be well. And then he says, then she is well, and nothing can be ill. And then he goes on and says that she's dead. And then I'm just like, God, you bastard. How could you? Because it says, then I defy you, stars. And then like I just go up to Benvolio in quite a vicious way. Just like, why are you lying to me? If that's so, if what you told me is true, get me a horse and I'ma head back. If not, I'm sprinting there. Like, bro's been doing cardio in Mantua.
Bro's going for a cheeky pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Just running up the stairs.
Yeah, there's nothing there. So
Running from one side of the stage to the other.
yeah, doing that for about 2 hours. But scene 1's quite heavy because it's very much the switch from Romeo's now depressed because he's heard Juliet's dead. And obviously then we go to the apothecary and like get the poison and stuff like that. And Romeo's lines are very long in this, and it's just trying to figure out the switch and the mindset for him, because I don't think I played it in the mindset that I should have. I need to sit down, translate his lines a little bit more, and just kind of put myself into that headspace a little bit more. Because I was probably a bit jokey around you on Friday, so I wasn't really in the mindset to play sad anyways. I was having a good happy Friday.
I was having a jolly good old time.
Yeah, I was having a jolly good Friday. So I think what I need to do is make sure that I play that first scene quite upsetting, and then obviously when I head into scene 2, it then is obviously about the friar and Friar John, just like, why did you not hand this letter to them? And then it goes straight into scene 3, the final scene, where then it starts off with Paris, because we started off with the movement, obviously Juliet dead in the tomb.
Yeah, so the Capulets walk past, puts down a flower, the nurse walks past.
Yeah, so it goes...
And then Paris shows up like a creep, which we all love.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just backtrack you.
Go for it.
When I was in the apothecary scene, I was
Yeah,
doing it
because
with
obviously...
John, because Mercutio plays the apothecary as well.
Because
Doing
he
it
done
with John,
drugs.
and John was supposed to be stepping away from me.
Yeah, John was
Yeah,
like grabbing you.
Yeah.
John was like, give me your shit.
No, like he was supposed to be stepping away from me as I'm stepping towards him, right?
He was trying to fight.
I was like, John, I can't
My
even step
legs.
forward.
My legs.
I was, yeah, that's what it was.
John had the Mike Tyson Romeo mindset.
Bro's like, you will serve me.
He's like, you will give me what I need. He's like, you're broke, I'm not broke.
Okay.
I'm just here on punishment. You're giving me drugs.
Oh, give me your poison.
We ain't
Oh,
bringing.
monster calls.
No.
Yeah,
We've had too many references of that of this week.
good.
But I think also something when you said backtrack to the apothecary, obviously, when I was doing it with Fernando. Sorry about that, guys.
Jazzy, you good, bros?
Jazz, chill. When I was doing the apothecary with Fernando, I told Jimmy to change Fernando's. I think it was like, who calls so loud? I made the I didn't make them. I asked them to see if Fernando could say what calls so loud, because then if it's Mercutio, as an apothecary, he still knows Romeo, like, because that's what he's seeing the vision of Mercutio.
Yeah.
And then if he said what calls so loud, it's more disrespectful, and then he steps out and there's Mercutio. And I think then I done well making sure that I got the emotions of like, oh crap, it's Mercutio, like,
My boy.
yeah, like, because this is when like he takes it, like he's like angry towards Mercutio, but like he's still down with himself for obviously getting involved and
Yeah.
not fighting Tibbles. Like he's still upset with himself because of that he led to the death. And I think I done well with trying to conclude his emotions towards seeing Mercutio. And that's why he's like, when he says, when he's trying to pay for the poison, he's like, here, take this, and then Mercutio just goes, no. It's because like I'm trying to give him my sorrow. Like, I'm trying to say like, I'm sorry, take this. Like, I'm sorry, can you accept this? And he's just like puts my hand down and walks away. Yes, he doesn't want it because he said a plague on both your houses.
Yeah.
So then that's how me and Fernanda portrayed that, and I think that was probably
It's cute.
my best part of Act 5 that I done that day. Apart from fighting you, which we're gonna get into now.
Well, before the fight.
Before the fight is obviously where everyone walks in.
Everyone walks in.
So
Is it?
yeah, so it starts off with Paris talking.
Yeah, so
it starts
it's
off with everyone walking in, like
well,
Lord and
it's
Lady
me.
Capulet.
It's the Capulets and the nurse. They all come in, drop a flower down. Then the ghost
You're
of
dropping candles, and then Nurse drops flowers.
the Mercutio and Tybalt that are currently dead become the borders of the.
Yeah, they
well,
become
we
the
have
rock.
to roll Juliet on back onto
Yeah.
the stage,
That's
which
our
was
little
awkward
transition.
in itself. I can't lie.
Because
You
for
have to get
staging
low.
and blog, you're like,
I have to be like,
At least you got two of you doing it. Earlier in the play, the nurse has to roll it out by herself.
Nurse is big, don't worry.
The nurse is built as hell.
Nurse lifts on the fucking days off.
but yeah, it was very awkward.
Yeah.
I think it's just awkward because we haven't done it and we're not sure on the proper way to stage it just
Well,
yet.
no, that's how we are staging it.
We just need to figure out how we die next
You
time.
need efficiency.
Yeah, we just need efficiency. Practice makes perfection.
And then, yeah, the family does all that.
Yeah.
And then Paris comes out center stage, does a slow walk, and before he enters the tomb, he starts his cheeky little monologue about how he can't believe someone so beautiful was so dead. Then
It's deep.
he like, never would I thought of beauty is this in such a way. And he's talking about yew trees and stuff, which is a nice link to Monster Calls.
Under yew trees lay the long sweet flower of flowers, thy bridal bed I strew.
I
Yeah,
still
that
think
one.
we should use berries for the poison.
We could. We definitely could. And then he's just kind of, because as I do it, I place flowers around her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're
It's
like
just-
taking out like a rose one by one, placing it
It's-
around the bed. You creepy doll.
It's literally the only way to say it is, bro is creepy.
Bro's creepy.
I met the girl once. I was then going to marry her. Now she's dead. Yet I'm still acting like I care. Just like it's a bit. He's got some sinister intentions. As
Some
one could
devious
say, he's on
malarkey.
devious malarkey.
He's on some devious malarkey that day.
But yeah, and then he's just kind of there gazing upon her as Romeo and
Benvolio.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so obviously
Have their
we.
little exchange.
Yes, and then obviously we walk around into the front of the tomb, and then obviously I'm like saying goodbye to Benvolio. It's like, I'm gonna die here, by the way. Don't expect me to come to dinner next week.
Yep, and then we put in a cheeky little breath in there.
Yep,
Big
and a
up.
cheeky little breath.
Do you know, I was actually talking to Alfie. I was like, Alfie, we should add a breath in here. He was like, no.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy did it himself.
Yeah, Jimmy done the breath.
Because Jimmy loves a breath.
No, actually, I went up to Jimmy.
Yeah, I know you did.
Yeah,
Sure?
thank you.
No, it was her idea. She was like, I think maybe we should all breath. And I was like, I mean, for the context of the play, maybe not, 'cause it might just like stop the tension. And Jimmy was like, you know what? We love a good
We
breath.
love a breath.
As soon as
Love
someone
breath.
says breath, could you like someone?
And
Some,
this, yeah.
Someone could like wake up, like they'll be in the middle of a sentence. Jimmy says, breath. Just do
No,
it.
but I think, to be fair, where I wanted to put the breath in is a different placement to where Jimmy put the breath in.
Exactly.
No,
As of
I don't
course.
think he understood where I went.
We,
Where we should
we
have
can always
done it.
talk to him about it,
Yeah.
or he could
Because
listen.
it's like where Romeo turns away and then Benvolio turns away, and obviously Paris is looking at
Through the creak of the tomb door.
No, it's
seeing-
also
and it's
I
like,
hear them talking, and I hear that somebody said Romeo or something. And I'm like, who's out there?
Yeah.
Gets ready.
but I think the breath really works, and I love it.
Yeah. It does suit well, so well done on that behalf. But then, obviously, we then just finished the day on Friday of just getting that exchange in through Romeo and Paris to the point where you die and then Romeo wants to die alongside Juliet.
I do
And
be dying sometimes.
you do be dying sometimes. I think the fight scene, but the like little brief fight scene is quite nice.
I mean, I like how, because our original idea for it was to
Just
be
shoot him and kill him
to
off.
be as pathetic as possible.
Yeah.
But like the way, because we're also the prince.
Yeah,
We've had fighting training. Whether or not we've actually fought on the field before, who knows?
Maybe that's a different play.
So literally, that's in Macbeth. I was a squire in Macbeth. But yeah, it's fun because I run at you with the blade, but you're already like, I'm gonna die, so I don't care about how hurt I get. You grab the sharp end of the blade with your bare hand, grab me by the scruff
Just
of my
swing
collar,
ya.
and then chuck. Not like turn and push me. You chuck me on the floor, and then. I mean, it's a bit awkward because I get chucked and then I stand up, and then you've got like
I've got like a hefty.
you've got 30 seconds of speech where I'm just stood there like, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah. Hold me back.
Once you finish your thought process, because I'm a respectful individual, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but the way they would kill you is still quite disrespectful.
Yeah, because
You run at us, and
I'm
then
going to apprehend you, vile villain or whatever it is.
I do defy thy conjurations and apprehend thee for a felon here.
For those a felon here. Then I'll run at you and go for a swing, because you know, when someone's got a sword to you,
You just
you're
wanna-
just gonna go punch, innit? So I'll swing for you, you stab me
I
in the
stab
side.
you under there. And
I'll go down to my knee.
drop.
And like that's where Romeo was gonna leave it there.
Yeah.
He's gonna let me bleed out and die.
But then you like
Very
you like
respectable.
to waff.
But then Paris is like, but with such mercy, lay me with my Juliet, and you're just like,
I don't even speak. I just look at you, huff and I puff. I go.
You grab me by my hair,
Tilt your head back, and then
slit my throat,
and then
kick me in the chest,
Yes,
and I
sir.
just lay down, and that's me for the rest of the play.
Yes, sir.
I do like it. I didn't like how many times I did it that day because I admit I was in pain the next day.
You will see some recordings of it as well.
I'm gonna put one in, but there are a few. We had to have done it once the lesson ended about 7 times.
Yeah.
Where you done it like 3 times, Owen done it twice, Matthew did it once, Carrie did it once, and Rizel did it once.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to kill me, which says a lot about what people think of not just Parrish but Ben Reeves as well.
Ren Beeves.
Ren Reeves of Big Huff.
But
and then
obviously, then we just done the whole Romeo looming towards Juliet. Tried to figure out how he could die. Didn't really go too well, so we need to focus on that a little bit. But that was week 7.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the whole of the week.
So first of all, Anya, what do you think? What do you think you done well during this week?
So I'm gonna do all 3. What I done well.
Oh, you're gonna go all 3 at once.
I'm gonna go.
somebody's cheeky today.
Yeah.
You
So
rapscally.
what did you do well? What would you like to improve? And what are your goals for next week?
So what I did well was I think I was a very good just standby body there because half of it was
I was a very good person.
yeah no, but half of it for half of it I was just Mercutio standing on stage, and even standing still sometimes is very painful. So yeah, but for Lord Capulet I feel like I did well on just trying to portray that he's not being a good person to his daughter, and
Rose a terrible
moving
father.
through the different emotions.
Yeah.
I feel like what I need to improve on is tap into fully tap into the character of Lord Capulet, because obviously bro's on something.
He's on smoking violence.
He's on something. Anger issues, bipolar, everything on
Love.
the side.
Love with a nurse.
Love with a nurse. So I think that's what I need to like improve on to make it seem better.
Yeah.
And then my goals for next week is just getting through lines.
Yeah.
Getting through lines as much as I can. Hopefully, finishing all the lines by next week. And yeah.
So forth. Ben, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I guess I'll do all 3 as well since we're being different.
Guess we've been different this week. Thanks, Anya.
What do I think I did well? I think I done well with presenting Paris as what he is, which is a complete and utter creep, while still adding the elements that he is the prince as well, which adds a cocky nature to him in the sense that he knows he has power and he will abuse it however much he wants to.
Yeah.
How I think I can improve from it. What should the next one?
What do you think you could have improved on this week?
I feel like for this week I could have improved on my energy a bit. Because I'll admit, I was very tired this week, to the point where on Friday, because my characters weren't doing much, I was laying down. How we may have on camera at some point where I converted a piece of the staging into a little bed. You never know if that will be seen or not. I'll check the footage.
Have my hoodie as a pillow.
No, I had my hoodie as a pillow. I used your hoodie as a blanket.
Oh, okay.
And then
What's your goals for next week?
To again try and find that switch, the big switches between emotions in a very natural and fluid way, instead of making them big and theatrical, even though we're in theatre.
Yeah.
What about you, Alfie?
Yeah.
So something that I thought done well was conquering my script. My lines, I have literally almost become off script.
Yeah.
All I need to do is just act 5 and I'm done. So I'm very proud on that behalf. And I think I done well as being the body for Tybalt and like the emotions that we have to go through. Obviously, even though we're dead, we still got to try and find the emotions of our characters in the story. So I think it's done that well. And just trying to get through the scenes with Romeo, Capulet and stuff like that. Just trying to break boundaries.
Big up the canoodle.
Big up the coitus. Something that I think could have went well this week, because because I wasn't nearly like off script at the end of the week when we was doing the cuddling scene and stuff like that, I didn't have enough freedom to like try and do everything that I could because I had like my script somewhere, so I kept on having to go back for it. So just need to make sure that the line or the scene at least is in my head, so then I can focus on the movement. So then there's just that fluidity instead of going back to it and then trying to reblock stuff. And then my goal for next week is to completely be off script. Part 1 of my FMP done, and stay as happy as ever.
Yay!
Trying to stay as happy as ever.
That's good.
Yeah.
And so, on that note,
And as for the editing, it will be all over the place because there's some places where we can cut in today's episode.
some
other
there
places we can. So
either way,
bear with us, and if you want to see Matthew falling, stick to the end.
yeah.
Stick to the end.
And on that note,
This is
guess what we will.
We'll see you next